supposed to gonna fuck your life up. You got all these things that'll fuck a young man up. This is what fucks a young man up. I was a young man, a light-skinned young man around dark-skinned men. You know what kind of fight that is in a fucking black community? I do. That shit ain't no joke. That's why when you go to the penitentiary, you run into all these light-skinned killers. I'm talking about, man, you look like I'll be sure. A life without parole, bro. Because somebody might have touched him when he was a kid that made him a monster. You see what I'm saying? This is what the kids need to hear right here. You want to hear some shit? That's some shit you need to hear. You're celebrating and you're looking in the wrong areas.
No, you mulatto. Mulattian. State, no. I tell my son all the time, man, don't let these niggas trick you into thinking you nigga. They go fuck over you. Your kind is your kind, son. That's why most light-skinned mixed kid gotta try to be the hardest nigga in the group when he the most lightest nigga in the group. He have to. He ain't with his kind. Most mixed kids, homie, they're way more compassionate and loving and understanding than the average natural white kid, black kid, Mexican kid. They really don't fit into those groups, and they new to the world. So if you notice, most mixed kids, homie, they kind of gravitate toward one another, but they never really fit in nowhere. So they're the new race of people that's like that.
You know it? We used to torture light-skinned niggas like that. You know it? We used to torture niggas that want to be down and act black, make them crash dummies. You might be thinking I'm playing. We used to do light-skinned niggas like you, dirty boy. Call it color, real, call it whatever the fuck you want, nigga. We might have been a little jealous, but nigga, you got done dirty, nigga. Fuck you talking about. And every dark-skinned nigga know what I'm talking about. You niggas light-skinned motherfuckers always want to be down. Not all of you, some of you motherfuckers. Always want to be down, always got to be proving something. Punk motherfucker, you wasn't black enough and you wasn't white enough. You stuck in the middle.
Niggas might come eat me up for this in the comments, but whatever. When y'all...
I know that's what you want, because you clout chasing. You know they always got to clout chase out the light-skinned niggas.
I used to say that, like, well, y'all still be saying, like, oh, I never dated a light-skinned man. I used to be like, why? They be kind of cute. But, you feel me? I've dated a light-skinned man before. No shade to him. Just want shit to do with him. But it's like when a light-skinned...
So you say you dated a light-skinned man, but it ain't got nothing to do with him? So is that the only experience you had with him? Are you speaking from experience, or are you just talking? That's what I'm wondering.
Man is cute. They be a little too close to pretty for me. When a brown be a little too close to it. It's like when a light-skinned man is cute, they be a little too close to pretty for me. When a brown-skinned man is cute, they be fine. Like, it don't ever give pretty, like pretty boy, if y'all feel what I'm saying. And from my personal point of view, I can be the only light-skinned motherfucker.
In other words, she has low self-esteem. She feels physically intimidated by handsome light-skinned men. Most of these broads, especially these black broads, they got such low self-esteem. They don't even have enough confidence to even stand next to a handsome light-skinned nigga. They don't. All right. So what she's saying, she feels more comfortable around a dark-skinned dude that's ugly versus a light-skinned dude that's good-looking. All right. That's all what she said. She just got low self-esteem. Well, let's keep going. But they project it on the light-skinned niggas. A lot of these broads, they just want light-skinned dudes validation. That's why they troll y'all so much. All right, they want y'all attention. All right, we don't even approach women like that. That's why they always trying to troll you for your attention. Even dark-skinned men, they just troll y'all to get validation from y'all. They do a lot of shit for attention. Like hoes.
When a brown-skinned man is cute, they be fine. Like, it don't ever give pretty, like pretty boy, if y'all feel what I'm saying. And from my personal point of view, I can be the only light-skinned motherfucker around here. I'm sorry. If I decide to have a kid, I need my kid to have a little shot at being just a little bit melanated. Just a little. And I'm not even gonna hold y'all.
Just a little. So why are you even speaking about light-skinned men in the first place? Unless you just want some validation or something. But that's her preference. That's her business. But notice I was in the comment section. This dark skinned woman was talking about this. She was talking about, notice how all this self hate stuff, it always comes from light skinned women. It never comes from the men. Like, you don't never hear the men saying, my kids have to be darker. Hell, light skinned dudes have a track record of dating white women. And I think this is because light skinned women are over infatuated with dark skinned people, specifically dark skinned degenerate people. All right, they are over infatuated with them, and they wanted their children to be able to participate in their degeneracy. So they try to get with a darker man so their children can blend in more than they did, basically, with them. All right, so in order to do that, they got to get with a darker man, and they always blackfires because these children still come out light, you know. So it's kind of stupid, but I think that's what they be trying to say when they, you know, say they got to get with a man who's darker so they can have darker children, which is a mental illness. And that's actually a video on Facebook, on YouTube, where this lady's talking about, do light-skinned women suffer from wanting to be darker? And, but with the men, the light-skinned men don't want to be, they like being themselves. So their pathologies are completely different. And I think it's because they feel nobody makes it uncomfortable for light-skinned women to fit in the dark-skinned community. But, like light-skinned men. But also, I remember hearing this from light-skinned women when I was younger. Like, even from my teacher, she said that she was light-skinned. She said she needed a man who was darker because our kids are going to come out too light. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're going to come out like you and your man. What are you talking about? I'm like, too dark for what? But now it took me, once I got older, they talking about to fit into the dark-skinned community standards.
Light-skinned men got them personality traits that only light-skinned men got. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. I ain't even gonna say too much. It's just certain traits that they got that, you feel me, darker tone men don't be having sometimes. And I know...
And this is the part of the video I really wanted to get to, is this whole personality traits and how the dark-skinned community and light-skinned women, they always trying to blame light-skinned men's phenotype for the reason why they act, instead of blaming their environment and who's raising them. Children act the way because of their environment that they're forced into, and because of their childhood trauma. The vast majority of light-skinned boys come from dark-skinned men, usually as fathers, and light-skinned women in the black community. So they think they're dissing light-skinned men, but they're too fucking stupid to realize that they're the only ones who are raising these light-skinned boys. They come from dark-skinned men or white women or non-black women, but in the black community, dark-skinned men and light-skinned women. What you're saying is that dynamic is bad. It's terrible. Y'all do a horrible job raising your sons, and y'all neglect your sons and their problems. That's all you're saying. But they're too fucking stupid to realize this. A son can only emulate what his father does and what his mother allows and tolerates. So is it a possibility that your sons are just imitating or picking up the bad characteristics that dark-skinned men and light-skinned women have? But they're so fucking stupid, they don't realize that. But let's keep going.
The niggas probably finna eat me up in the comments and all of that, that's fine, but that's just how I feel, and I don't think I'll be able to date, like, seriously, a light-skinned man again. Like, they just don't be hitting for me, I'm sorry. I know the niggas...
These broads be trolling light-skinned dudes for attention and shit. But basically, it's funny how they always trying to point out light-skinned men's flaws, but they never point out them dark-skinned niggas' flaws. Y'all notice that? That's weird. Black women for 50 years, really even way longer than that, have exclusively been talking about how they only date dark-skinned men. They get burnt by dark-skinned men. Their kids get molested a lot of times by dark-skinned men, sometimes killed. All this shit that they do, but they never get on the internet and talk about how bad dark-skinned men are. The only person who does that is maybe dark-skinned women here and there, and it's usually just because they're scorned because they can't get one. But I've never seen a light-skinned female who had enough balls who to come clean and talk about how dark-skinned men do them dirtball bad, how they gave HIV or AIDS. And this can only be for a couple reasons. One is because you've been instructed by the black sisterhood or by dark-skinned men to do this, and you're trying to please them, or you don't really desire dark-skinned men like you say you do. and you're thirsty for light-skinned men's attention and validation. Or, and not only are you thirsty for that validation and attention, but you're trying to cock block them from other groups of women by putting a bad name. And these broads are stupid. If they actually like dark-skinned men, why would you do that? Because all you're going to do is you're going to make other groups of women want dark-skinned men more, which is more competition for you. That's how I know that this shit is all a game. And that's how you know this shit is a game. All right, they don't really like them niggas. They just taking advantage of them. And they're trying to destroy your value, your dating value across the world. That's what this shit is all about. All right. It's taking the attention away from light-skinned men and trying to bring them to a lower state and trying to marginalize them. All right. So they can only deal with them, especially once dark-skinned men dog them out. You could be desperate enough to pick up the pieces after they've already been traumatized and they got all this damn baggage. All right, but it's funny how they always talk about why light-skinned men got bad personalities. But let's talk about light-skinned women for a second and how y'all fail y'all light-skinned sons. All right, y'all fail y'all light-skinned sons and brothers by putting them in fucked up positions in order to prove your blackness. Y'all do it all the time, and so that you're a servant to dark-skinned men and women. Y'all do it all the time. Let's talk about how y'all neglect y'all light-skinned sons and their issues. Light-skinned men in the black community, especially if they grow up in the black community, and even light-skinned boys or mulatto boys who grow outside the black community can see this. That's why they keep their distance from y'all. Y'all do a terrible job of gaslighting light-skinned men when they say they go through things, especially the children. Light-skinned boys are actually shamed and mocked and ridiculed when they say something that they go through something. And they get told that they're crying or they're soft if they express how they feel about things. And you light-skinned brothers, be very careful with that. It tells us in the Bible not to tell your woman. I'm paraphrasing, but it says not to tell a woman don't pillow talk with a woman, basically, because women for the most part are trying to figure out your information so they can come back later and expose it to everybody. And it's actually a video of a dark-skinned chick on YouTube, who, I'm guessing, I could be wrong, she's with a light-skinned guy, and she got on this YouTube and embarrassed that dude for pillow talking. And she was still with him with their child in the back. All right, and talking about how she didn't want him and how he was light-skinned. I might react to it. It came out a while ago. I remember seeing it years ago. But I noticed that. But y'all don't talk about how y'all neglect y'all children. A lot of light-skinned boys from the time they're born, when they hang around ghetto-ass wannabe light-skinned girls, wannabe dark-skinned, light-skinned girls, when they hang around dark-skinned people, they get mistreated. They get harassed. They get hazed. And it's funny because light-skinned men, they have this stigma on them of thinking they're better than everybody. But it shows time and time again when they try to connect with their brothers and sisters. This is not really my experience, but I have seen it. Dark-skinned men, say if they want to keep with dark-skinned men will literally tell you to their face that we torture these light-skinned niggas. They look do I have to have Kwame Brown and Charleston White show you what they do to light-skinned boys, and they usually outnumber them by a large margin. All right, and that can traumatize a light-skinned boy's mind. The black community can be very intimidating to a young light-skinned boy. All right, when you got to worry about getting rejected all the time because them trying to humble you all the time, and then you got to worry about all these dark-skinned niggas whooping your ass and trying to kill you. Then that can be very intimidating to a young boy, which can be why they probably can come off some socially awkward sometimes, and not knowing who they can trust and who they can confide in and stuff like that. So they have a lot of trauma within the black community. That's why they act the way they act. Some of them may have PTSD dealing with black women. All right. Dealing with black men. That's why they probably avoid you guys. But they'll never talk about that. All right. I know you'll notice in the black community and in the world, you'll notice, period, across the world now, you'll notice that trauma on dark-skinned men is perceived as sexy and everybody got to listen to it. But when a light-skinned dude has trauma, he's crying or he's a bitch or he's, that's how it's perceived. He ain't been through nothing, And that's not to say, a lot of these these dark skinned men, they never talk bad about these men at all. Like everybody sees the dirt dark skinned men do. And that's why I say you light skinned people, y'all open up a can of worms by trying to go along with this victim narrative with dark skinned people, because it leaves the open for them to do whatever the fuck they want to anybody, especially to y'all. You guys, when they mistreat y'all open up they can get away with anything. They can set a light skinned nigga on fire, and nobody's going to say nothing because they're the former slaves, allegedly. All right. Talk about them dark skinned niggas that put mollies in y'all drinks. Talk about raping y'all light skinned daughters and shit in them rap songs. Why don't y'all talk about that shit? Talk about how some of these light skinned boys been molested by the perverted dark skinned boyfriends. Talk about the shit. Talk about the shit at the home where y'all go to the cookout and that's all that. It's that perverted dark skinned uncle over there. But they won't do that. All right. Instead of actually addressing the real issue with these young light-skinned boys, they want to get on the internet and try to publicly humiliate them. All right. And I got a video I'm gonna show y'all what Mike Epps said about light-skinned men and their experiences growing up around black people, and it's often brushed off, and that's why light-skinned men can probably have a lot of animosity towards light-skinned women because they probably feel like they failed them as parents. Or the black community felt them in general. But here you go right there. I'm going to close this out, though.